Welcome back, everybody. This is Keith, Florida Two-Wheel Adventure. So today is September 27th, 2022, and it's about 5:15 or so in the afternoon. If you're watching this at some point in the future, and not today when I'm going to film it and post it, then today is the day that a Hurricane Ian, I think maybe, is supposed to hit Florida. That in and of itself, a hurricane hitting Florida, it's not that unique. What is unique about this one is where it's hitting. So the storm is coming up over Cuba right now, and it's going to go up the west coast of the state of Florida, which is the unusual part. Typically they're known to come in over Miami. So this one's going to hit, predicted to hit, right in the area of Tampa Bay, which is unique. That doesn't usually happen. So I work in the Tampa Bay area. I can't elaborate on where I work, who I work for, but I'm in law enforcement. I'm a patrol sergeant. I supervise a squad of people, and we are going on duty tomorrow at, for me, 5 p.m. For most of my guys, 5 p.m. For the rest, 6 p.m. And we'll be on duty until this is all over. Anyway, I don't want to ramble. What I wanted to do today is I wanted to come up to the woods on the Kawasaki and ride around, get a little bit of footage of before the storm. Since I'm going to be working, since I'm going to be working, I won't be able to come back until after the storm. But after the storm, I want to come back and get some more footage to see how things might have been damaged. But I'm going to get a little bit of footage, just showing you the area right now. It looks normal right now. And then hopefully Friday I'm back at home and I can go come back up here and get some more footage. So anyway, let me just get you some handheld footage here with the camera, looking around the woods. I am in the Withlacoochee State Forest, Rich Loam. So you've seen me ride up here a lot, and I'm going to do some riding after I put the camera down with the GoPro. We'll hit some of these trails. The trails are no more than normal wet. So anyway, here we go. Here's a look around. So first, let me just say that the area itself where I'm at right now is a parking area for hunters and whatnot, I guess, because there's nothing else up here. It's not a camp area, I don't believe. It could very well be, for all that matters. But it's a couple of the trails that I ride a lot. Down there doesn't look too bad there at the beginning. It's pretty dry up in there. It's bone dry. But coming back over here, this trail actually, this doesn't look too bad, but about a half mile up there, it had gotten really wet a couple months ago, impassable almost. So, you know, I'll ride up there and take a look, see what that looks like. And then here's a view of the sky. Now, mind you, this storm is supposed to hit tomorrow, tomorrow evening, I guess. It's as reliable as the weatherman, so we'll see what happens. But I'm facing northwest right now. So the storm is coming from down this way, and it doesn't look that bad at all. I don't know if you can hear that thunder. We're going to get wet, we're going to get some wind. I've never once experienced a severe hurricane here in the 30 years I've lived in Florida, so we'll see. You know, hopefully everything goes okay. This day has been not a good one for me. My grandfather passed away today. If you're a subscriber to my channel, I put in the community post a week or so ago that he was in hospice care. He passed away today, so anyway, Okay, I'm gonna quit rambling. Gonna get on the bike, gear up a little bit, and do some riding around. I'll come back at you. All right. So the bugs, they are on point. Let me tell you what. Holy crap, it's bad. All right, let's take a look around, see what things look like. I'm expecting nothing. I mean, obviously right now there's been no storm that's come through yet. So anything that's existing right now is going to be just from regular weather that we've had. And it's been rainy lately. Not really quite sure why it's been so rainy. It's at the tail end of the rainy season, but I'm guessing because it's hurricane season, we get more rain every year. You can see as we're riding here that there's dead trees that are down right now, and that's probably from a recent storm. But it'll make the trails a mess. It just stays wet up here for a while, even after the rain. And then, of course, I don't know who's responsible for cleaning these trails up. I think most of the time it's just riders and people that use the woods will come up here with chainsaws, and you know, they'll be dragging stuff off the side of the trails. Yeah, if we get significant rain, this whole trail will be flooded out. It's still got a lot of standing water in it from just the rainy season. Because everything is so sandy here, it just will tend to wash huge holes away. I'm not saying that right. You'll be riding around the trail and you'll come across a pit that's like 4 or 5 feet deep. Not all the time, but it'll happen. And you know, prior to that, it wasn't nearly as bad, prior to the rain. Florida is, the whole state is real sandy. So all over the state you get sinkholes. Unfortunately, sometimes that happens underneath houses. And you know, a concrete foundation will just be obliterated because a sinkhole develops. This trail is getting rough. You know, and a house will fall into it. Part of a house. Cars will fall into sinkholes. It's bad news. I'm not going to keep going here. This is it's getting worse and worse up there. There will come a point probably where this whole trail is flooded out. It looks like, I don't know if that's coming out very well on the GoPro, but that band, there's a band coming in. Last thing I want to do is get stuck up here. My cell phone probably wouldn't work. And then it'll start hurricaning on me. I see that whole thing going south really quick if I'm not careful. Kind of like this 25-point turn that I'm doing. Yeah, look at this. It's going to be ugly up here. Now, I live in a house that's old, built in the late 1800s, and it's a 2-story old house with a metal roof. And I've had a couple of times where the wind has kind of ripped up the roof panels a little bit. Nothing serious. I was able to get up there on a ladder and fix it. But, you know, when we get these big storms, especially like this one where it's predicted to come in off the water, I'm going to see if I can maybe put a video or a picture up in this video to better explain what I'm trying to say. But if you know what Florida looks like, it's a peninsula. It sticks down into the Atlantic Ocean and the Gulf of Mexico on the other side. If a storm comes into the Tampa Bay area off the Gulf of Mexico, it has the potential for being pretty strong, because that's really warm water out there, and you know, it makes landfall going across the state rather than coming up the state. If it comes in and hits the Tampa Bay area, there's going to be a lot of damage, because it just doesn't happen. For whatever reason, the way the Gulf Stream is, or whatever, storms don't typically get around Florida to the west coast, the Gulf of Mexico. They don't typically get over there. They typically come in the Atlantic and they hit down south in Florida on the Miami coast, the East Coast. And if they continue on that track, they have to cross the state. So by the time they get to the Tampa area on the other side of the state, they've lost all their wind. The wind's been knocked out of their sails, so to speak. But for whatever reason, sometimes storms get on the west coast of Florida before they make landfall, like this one. So there's nothing that's gonna break it up. Now I'm hoping Cuba, the landmass of Cuba, hopefully has been able to do something with this storm. But I think what I was seeing is it's still a category 2 or 3, or is going to become a 2 or 3 by the time it comes into Tampa. Anyway, I don't know what else to say. I'm not terribly concerned about it. You know, it's out of my control. I can't control it. All I can do is prepare for it and just let it play out. So that's what I'm going to do. And we'll just see what happens. Hope for the best, prepare for the worst. Another reason that I wanted to come out here today is with my grandfather passing, I need to keep my mind busy. My grandfather was a huge part of my life. And just about 2 months ago to the day, my father died. So, you know, in the last 2 months, my dad's died and today my grandfather died. And I'm a 48-year-old man, so it's not like I'm relying on either one of those two to be able to live, you know, so it's not that, but it's still, you know, my grandfather and my father passed away. And my grandfather being such a big part of my life, that's a hurt that is going to stay with me for a while. I got to see him this past February for his birthday. I went out to Arizona. I got to spend some time with him. So that was good. And I'm going to miss him. I'll miss them both, but so many things that my grandfather taught me, you know, they stick with me. He was just one of those guys. He cracked me up all the time. And not because he was trying to be funny, just because he was funny. He had a saying for everything. You know, he was an old man. So even when I was a kid, he was still, you know, in his 50s or 60s. If something was imminent, something, you know, we were waiting for dinner to be ready, or, you know, it was going to start snowing because we grew up in New York. It was going to start, you know, a blizzard was going to come in, you know, whatever. Whatever we were waiting on, when it got close to being there, my grandfather always would say, as the monkey said when his tail got caught in a lawnmower, it won't be long now. Now, for the longest time, and still probably a little bit to this day, I always wondered what exactly that saying meant. Because you could really interpret it, I guess, two ways. The monkey's tail won't be long now because it got cut off in the lawnmower, or because his tail got caught in the lawnmower, he was about to get sucked in. And then it wouldn't be long now for him. So I don't know. I guess really the end result's the same. That was just something that always kind of stuck with me. He had sayings like that all the time, though. Just, you know, I'm sure you probably heard that one, but you ask him, you know, what's going on, Grandpa, you busy? You know, and, oh, I'm busier than a one-armed paper hanger, or I'm busier than a one-legged man in an ass-kicking contest. Just stuff like that. I don't miss stuff like that about him. Even right now, I can't remember half the things he used to say. But he had a saying for everything. Jokes. He used to love to tell jokes. When I was a young boy, you know, before my teenage years, when everybody becomes a jerk, when I was a younger boy, I used to spend a lot of time with my grandparents, but definitely every Sunday. But I was there often during the week as well. My grandfather always used to watch Jeopardy and what's the other one? The Pat Sajak one, Wheel of Fortune. Every night he watched those two, and we'd do, in the newspaper, there would be those little puzzles on the comic page. He used to love to do the jumble. I remember doing that with him all the time. Anyway, it's starting to rain on me here. Probably better head home before it gets really bad. So anyway, I'm not going to keep on going here. You've seen probably enough. I'm going to come back and I will update you with another video after the storm, after I'm returned home, and we'll see how things look up here at that point. Hopefully it's not too terrible. Hopefully everybody makes it through this without any serious damage or loss of property, and everybody stays safe. So I'll check back in a couple of days, comment, because I'm going to be at work, and I'll be sitting around with nothing to do probably because it's going to be storming. So I'll comment, I'll reply back to the comments, and I look forward to talking and seeing y'all again. I'm out.